our funny tripod. As you see, we love horror movies.
Oh, wow.
So this is your microphone, so if you could something like
that?
this. And we will record you here. And give us a second, please, so we can, quick photo.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we love your movie. We absolutely adore your movie. I was
thank you.
actually able to see your movie twice. So,
wow.
Yeah.
The lucky one.
Because I'm here from the beginning. So yesterday was my second screening, and I loved it even more. So we are super happy to have you here. The more so that you are one of our first English interview ever. So
Oh, really?
we feel a bit pressure. And,
Don't. Proszę, don't.
it's a bit funny because your movie is about not being perfect.
Yes.
It's okay to not being perfect, but we feel a bit nervous before talking to you.
You already started the interview?
Yeah. That our English might not be too perfect, but we are happy to have you here. First of all, we have to say, because this is like the most important thing for us in your movie, that you showed female weirdness as some kind of superpower. This is something that could help us to survive in this wild world. So thank you for this, because it's not so common to show women this way.
No, and you're thinking about the little sister Alma, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was very cathartic for us.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's what I was hoping for. You know, it's
more weird women on screen.
Yes, but it's really, you know, it's has not been that many female filmmakers in the history of cinema, and as you know, men they often want to have sex with them, so that's how they portray them. And I must say I think men should make sexy women in movies. I think it's important to also do the male gaze, but I think we're missing the female gaze.
Yeah, exactly.
We're missing the female representation and missing, women talking about being women and showing the diversity and what it really feels like. And of course, men can't do that.
We are happy that you started from that point of view, because we wanted to ask you about some kind of gendering of movie genres. We as a female viewer often hear that violent movies are a man thing, yeah. So,
a man thing?
They are for men.
Oh, yeah, a man thing. Yes.
Man entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah. And if we as a women try to make violent movie, gore movie like yours, we love gore. A bit of more about women. This sounds like we are trying to take something from the men perspective. So we were wondering, what do you think? Why? This is so difficult for female directors to direct violent, weird, gore. It's not that common. It's not that common.
Yeah, it's not that common, but I don't think it's difficult, actually.
Yeah.
I have many friends, female friends, that do like the most weird stuff. It's the men that's the boring ones in Norway. And
what happened? We need
invite them to Poland.
But I think, and also you saw with the substance, it's and with the Julia Decono, with the Raw and Titan. We also have still the
it's like a new wave, right?
It's a little bit. I think maybe the reason why women hasn't done it before is because the female, there hasn't been that many female directors, and those directors, before Me Too and before the third wave of feminism or something in the 2000s, a lot of female directors were really, women in a very male-dominated world. But now there's more and more women, so now we're also more and more free to do whatever we want, and I think a lot of us are quite angry.
We will be back to the subject of female rage, don't worry. I forgot my question. Okay. Speaking about freedom, this is also interesting for us. Did you have total freedom in terms of weirdness in your movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you could show everything you want?
Yes. You know, I have 2 erect penises. I don't think anyone...
Speaking about penises, because it's also important thing for us in your movie. I once had an interview with Polish scholar that he told me something that stick in my mind to this day, that he missed more male genitals on the screen, and you seem to think similar.
You know, I make movies from a female perspective. I also have a vagina in the or like a vulva in the movie, so it's not only strictly male stuff. But you know, this film is really a coming of age story. And when I realized that Cinderella was not or that's still up for debate, I guess, if she's a virgin or not. But depends on which hole you think she takes it in. But she's actually she's sexually active, and this really, you know, it shocked me when I understood that this was true to my character. And it's also a very shocking experience for Elvira when she sees this sexual action. And I knew it would be shocking to the audience as well. And yes, but that's because I made a shocking sex scene. It was important for me to translate this shock, you know, to the audience, and to not shy away from, you know, when I grew up, I longed to see movies that depicted the world and all of it, you know, that didn't censor stuff, that didn't say this is...
Don't hide anything in the corner,
exactly, right? Because I was like, but how does it work? What actually happens? What does it look like? And also for Elvira, you know, she doesn't know what sex is, so I thought it would be funny to do like a sex demonstration, like here's a hole, here's a penis, or like here's 2 holes, or here's a vagina, and here's a penis, and then they go together. It's like like sex education a little bit.
Yesterday you mentioned about 70s cinema, and it totally feels that way in depiction of the erotic aspect. It also reminds me about, I don't know if you know him, Bertrand Mandico. The visuals are really similar, but in a good way. I don't want to compare you to him, but you should definitely try his movies, because I think that you can find a connection between together. So 70s rules. Okay.
I want to ask why Cinderella? Because there is a lot of fairy tales which blow minds of modern women. But why her? Why Cinderella?
So I didn't choose the stepsister. The stepsister chose me. So I didn't.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I didn't, you know, think, oh, I want to do a fairy tale and which one, and it was not like that at all. Actually, I was...
It is a fairy tale.
Yes,
very
but...
dark, very gloomy, very disgusting, but it's fairy tale.
Yes, but that's not... I didn't start by wanting to do a genre or wanting to...
Yes.
Actually, I was working with a short film, and I worked a lot with female characters that are struggling to fit in different ways. And I was working with a character who's like 2 meters tall, and gorgeously chubby, but she doesn't know it herself, and she is very scared to have sex, but luckily she has a talking vulva that is very lonely and wants visitors. So she tries to help her. But anyways, I was working on this movie, and then I did a creative nap. I do that sometimes, where I just lay down and close my eyes and let my thoughts go. And in that dream state, almost like half dream state, I envisioned this character, this 2 meter tall character, like Cinderella, in 3 wishes for Cinderella, or 3 hazelnuts for Cinderella, the Czech version. And the prince came riding. It was, of course, the person she was in love with, and then she tries on the shoe, and it fits magically, and she's lifted up on the horse like she weighs nothing, and then they ride off to the castle, but then they look down and they see the shoe is full of blood.
Oh my God, I want to see
And
this.
she realized that of course I'm not Cinderella, I'm the stepsister. And the prince was, he refused her, and she was, of course, devastated. And when I woke up from this dream, I was in shock. Because for the first time, I had been in the stepsister's shoes, pun intended, you know. I'd sympathized with this character that I never before had shown any sympathy, and to my shock I found that I am the stepsister, and I have not shown myself any sympathy in this situation, because actually the story of Cinderella has taught me to despise myself, you know, and it's kind of given me this internal self-hatred. And I knew that I have to tell this story, because this is not only true to me, you know. There is only one Cinderella, and the rest of us struggling to fit the shoe. We are stepsisters. Yeah. So that's why. And then I knew I have to make this movie, and so the stepsister chose me.
Okay, but you mentioned that you have a very much sympathy for the Cinderella and for the stepsister, but I think. What about the male characters?
They are super
they are
creepy.
Creepy. They are gross.
Yeah. You know,
terrible.
But it's you know, I think
the prince.
Yeah, but I was thinking, you know, because I've tried to give all the characters some real feeling, you know, and it's also set in a long time ago, and I was thinking, you know, but why would there be a Prince Charming, you know, in long time ago? Because
it's horrible, and the writing is, oh my God.
Yes, but it's like, really, would he be? He's grown up in a society where men own women. Why should he treat them like something more than that? Really, I think already today we have a lack of good men that know how to treat women, right? And why would there be more of them?
Sexual objects.
Yes, and I really wanted to show this. You know, how women have been the objects of men. They're, you know, where you go out and you work really hard and you come back and you take what's yours, you know. And actually in the 1800s, if the woman was sick, you know, or maybe not even sick, maybe she was just depressed, the doctor could,
right?
the doctor could prescribe sex as a medicine, where actually, you know, it was rape that was prescribed for these women, and so I think, you know, I have a male partner, and he's amazing, and I love him, and I have a lot of amazing men in my life, but I think, you know, there was just this. I just wanted also to tear down this idea of the man that was going to save you, right? This knight in shining armor, and really show maybe the more realistic version of it, and also to make fun of them, you know, to really, you know. So so I'm not
stupid.
that they're stupid.
Did your partner watch the movie? And
sorry?
Did your partner watch the movie?
Sure.
What did he think about it? Did you discuss?
No, you know, he's known the movie for a long time. You know, he's also in film, so
Okay.
He was prepared.
yes, but he's super proud. Yeah, he's very proud.
It's really interesting what you are talking about now, because I think that this perspective is perfectly shown with the mother figure, because it's quite surprising for me how many movies I've seen during the festival that have some kind of non-obvious complex mother figure. Your movie also has this type of mother figure, but I actually felt a bit of sympathy for her also.
Absolutely.
She seems to suffer on her own way, especially when she constantly seeks for validation in male eyes.
Yes. You know, I think it was important for me, you know, to still keep the archetypes. So the wicked stepmother would be the wicked stepmother, exactly. And you know, all of this. But I guess the Prince Charming is the one that got furthest from his archetype. But really, I needed to understand my characters and why they would do these horrible things, you know, this is very much a movie of how objectification or the pressure to try to get beautiful, you know, in quotation marks, it's really something that is is herited from mother to daughter, you know, through generations, and also through our common cultural heritage, like the fairy tales. And I think it's very interesting to say that, but this mother, you know, just like she tells Elvira, this is the world, this is how it works, this is where your value is in your body, and this is how you can become anything in life. This is also what she lives by. And I have this backstory for her that she did, she's done like class travel through her female, you know, powers. And
from women roles.
Yes, and but she's been unfortunate, and you know, when she's there without husband, without money, she needs to survive. And I think it's very hard for mothers to see their daughters struggling, especially if they themselves are self-objectifying, and if they themselves have spent their whole life trying to make their bodies into the perfect object. Then it's really hard to say to your daughter, "No, it doesn't matter," you know, because you really believe it's your value system, right? And these are the things that make it so hard for us to deconstruct this whole female object thing, you know.
We don't know if you agree with us, but when we were talking in private about your movie and about mother figure, we were curious if mothers maybe are the first guardians of the patriarchy system that we are getting to know in our lives, especially even through the reading of fairy tales to us as a children. You know, I remember my mother. This is the main. Reason. This is the main reason why I love your movie so much, because I remember when I was little, my mother constantly was reading Grimm's tales for me. So I was so much looking forward for seeing Ugly Stepsister. And you know, our mothers were reading these tales to us, and they the damage was already done there, for them and for us. What are your point of view about this subject?
I think, you know, that we don't. It's hard to sometimes see what these fairy tales are. We are often just reproducing, right?
Exactly.
So we go and we see the fairy tale and we're like, oh, that was nice, you know, or we read it.
I absolutely don't want to judge the mother figure, because she's also a victim of this system.
Absolutely. Totally true. And I totally agree with that sentiment. We're all victims of it, you know, men and women. And I think, you know, but it's really hard to come to that place where you have the economical standard, the education, you know, the emancipation of the rights of where you don't have to be scared of of violence as a woman as such, to come to that place where you actually have the brain space to be critical. And it's really, really scary to deconstruct a role and try to see, okay, but how can I do it differently? And it's really, really scary to deconstruct a role and also in that deconstruction understand that, oh, but I'm actually not as free as I thought, or actually the things that I'm doing to myself, I'm doing it because I'm not because of me, but because I'm scared of what other people will think, or if I will be accepted, or if I will find a partner. And I've been very, very lucky to grow up in a country that is very feminist, and with feminist parents and a great dad that's always also been there for me. And when I had a very, very hard time with my body, it was actually my father who helped me. He's my Alma.
Oh my God.
And we became feminists together because I was having such a hard time with my body, and discussing feminism. And within that, I decided to stop shaving. So I haven't shaved for 10 years, 12 years now. And also later I also stopped wearing makeup because I felt that those actions were actually me trying to change
I feel it.
how I look and trying to make myself look better.
Yeah,
and I don't know, I know that this is not true for everyone. There are other people who are more free to do makeup and feel good with and without and have more fun with it. But for me, it was really an act of self-harm in a way. And I wanted to force myself to love my body the way it actually looks, and by doing that I had to stop and to start, you know, look at my body and to get to know it. But my point by telling this story is that that was a very, very scary thing to do. You know, I was very single and I didn't know if people of the guys would, you know, accept my hairy legs and all of that. But the reason why I say all of this is that it takes a lot of courage, but it also takes class, you know, it's a class issue as well. It takes economic freedom, it takes political freedom, it takes all of this to be able to really start to question and to argue these positions. And if you don't have all of those things, you will reproduce it. Yeah. Or, you know, so there are, of course, really brave people that don't have these things as well. But most people will reproduce it because they're not in a state where they can actually question it.
You know what? You know that we are living in a fucked up system when you, as a fourth grader, are being shamed by hairy legs. This is my story, so it's so nice to hear and see your movie taking this story from another point of view.
Thank you.
Yes, but I'm sure that we all are having hard relationship with our bodies because we are always changing them. We hate them, trying to making them better. But in your movie, I also seen many scenes with self-hate.
No, I think, you know, when your value is put into your body, then and your body is not good enough, then you can feel like you're betrayed by your body.
Yes.
But on top of that, you're also with self-objectifying and within patriarchy, as women we're told that it's our job to make that body into the best version possible. It's your duty to become beautiful. And
it's a virtue, right?
Yes, exactly. And then, you know, so when you then have this, so your body becomes an object that you can punish, an object you can hate, an object you can inflict pain upon because it deserves it, because it's been a bad body, you know? It's like, and it's really self-harm, you know? But we don't see it as self-harm because we see it as our duty to whip this body into shape, right? And I also find it, you know, really emotional to think that when you as a woman often find that you cannot make your body into the beautiful thing, you feel it's your own fault. It's because you've been lazy or because you're eat too much and all of this, and often then you start self-harming even more, and you start maybe you throw up your food, or you say you cannot eat, or you overeat, you know, and it's this, and the body really becomes this like object that you punish, right? And it's so important for me to kind of what I tried to tell Elvira, you know, when I threw her down the stairs,
oh my God.
which is you know, this is she's in a horrible state, but she does not give up this project, you know, and then. So it's kind of karma, me beating her up, trying to beat sense into her, saying, stop it. But it's also me taking away all of the things that she had gotten made, the nose, the teeth, because I could not leave her in the movie with a nose that was perfect, or because she really needs to undo all of this to be able to really, you know, where I wanted to put her in a state where she had to accept herself, where she could not have the beauty, where she needed to find her value in somewhere else, because that is where you can thrive as a woman. That is where you can find self-acceptance. And it's very important for me to say, it's not about loving your body. It's about accepting your body. Loving it is too much, you know. And no, but it's unrealistic, and it also again puts your value in your body.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's your body is your means of transportation. It's your means of feeling pleasure. Yeah. It's your, you know, when you dance, when you have sex, when you go for a run or whatever. But it's also a fucking hazard, you know. And, but it's like a thing where your mind and body, and they both, you know.
But I think that for you it was really hard to making all these things to Elvira.
Yes,
you really
yes.
tortured her
yes.
in the moment. The last act of the movie is quite shocking and very sad.
Yes.
Perfect gore piece of cinema.
Yes, yes, of course. But I want to ask, do you ever had a thought, Emilie, stop that.
Yes.
Don't do this again, because she's so really.
It was actually It was actually when she goes down the stairs. I was thinking, oh, is this too much?
Enough, no?
Yeah. But what is really interesting is that is the feeling the audience also gets, and somehow the sympathy for the character.
Because
it's
you are
really
crossing the boundaries.
yes. And I think really, you know, exaggerating or really pushing the boundaries. Mm-hmm. This is what I really wanted to do, and not be nice and not be, you know, because it's not nice, the things we do to ourselves, and we really cross some insane borders with the stuff that we endure or put ourselves through, and the desperation is really true. And I've been there where I really thought that if I did not make myself more beautiful, I was not the servant of love.
Oh,
you know, and I never.
We know this feeling.
Yes, I think a lot of women do, and therefore, and that it's that belief system that really drives us that far. But I also knew that, especially the puking of the worm, that this was a moment of catharsis, hopefully, and especially for me and for Elvira. And I really wanted this worm inside her to be really, really big, you know, that it's this monster that's been eating her up from the inside, and this is actually this belief system. It's the self-objectifying. It's all of this. It's that the worm represents, you know, and and also the beauty industry feeding on her, right?
Yes.
And she needs to get it out and kill it. Yeah.
During the old movie, we heard that something inside her are
living.
Yes. Hungry, angry.
Yes. Let's talk about Leah, because it was very important to pick up the right actress becoming Elvira, because she's the connection between you, your thoughts, and the audience, and point of view of very women. So
why her?
Why her? Like, if not her, who? You know. I think she was born to do this part. Without her, no movie. But no, Leah was really, you know, she's a gift from heaven. I was really unsure if I would find a young actress who would be able to do all of this, you know, the humor, the physicality, the emotion, the timing.
Mimic.
Yes.
Perfect mimic.
The dancing, you know, and just the long hours and everything. And when I saw her in the first audition, I was just blown away, because I knew it was her. I knew I had found her.
So she was your first choice?
Love at first sight?
Yes, but I had seen 500 girls before her, but and no one were good enough, and I was like, and
what do we do now?
yeah, and also because the dialogue is not, it's not like everyday dialogue, you know, it's not modern everyday dialogue. It's quite written, it's quite weird, it's a little bit, you know, and to be able to master that and all of these things, it was really hard. And then she just came in the door one day, and it was insane.
So, speaking about casting choices, how about Katarzyna Herman and Agnieszka Żulewska? We absolutely adore them.
Oh, they're amazing.
They are so beautiful, but in their unique way. You know, the strong jaw lines are perfect in Katarzyna Herman and Agnieszka Żulewska.
Yes, yes.
And one question more. Why Katarzyna Herman's character have a few of Polish words in his her dialogues?
So I really like when you can bring more cultures into one movie, because it really opens up the world, and I think the world is, especially today, global, but also like in a fairy tale world, I like the idea that, you know, you can have characters from different parts and different cultures and that. So, you know, there were already Norwegian and Swedish characters in the movie, and when we went to Poland, I thought, you know, why use a lot of money to you know, fly in a Swede for one scene or two scenes when there's such great talent in Poland. So with and with the dance teacher part that Katarzyna did, that was actually written as a Russian character.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, because you know, and I really wanted this Eastern European strict ballet teacher feeling of her.
She's good in it.
Yes, and she's amazing in it, and when I saw, you know, her show reel and all of that, I knew that she was the right person, and she really, you know, I had this idea for this character that she would be way too good for this school. Actually, she's like, she should be she wants to be like a big thing, but she's a woman, so she can't. So she works with these girls, and she has more ambitions that she can get out of these, you know, rich, noble girls trying to dance. So that was my joke with her, and it was a pleasure working with Katarzyna. And then with Agnieszka, it was you know, she actually has a Swedish character.
Yeah.
She speaks Swedish in the movie, and then we wanted to dub her after, you know, that she just said it in Swedish, and then we would dub her. But I thought her way of delivering of the lines was so soft, was so beautiful, and when we had these Swedes do it, it just became, you know. So instead, we really just twisted it a little bit, and now, you know, she has a little bit of an accent, but I thought that was. It's like she's from the ghost world, and then her speaking got a little bit, you know, twisted through the different, trying to reach the real world.
Yeah, they are both perfect in their roles, even though that these are actually small roles, but very important to the whole picture. We also like how you don't connect virtues with the beauty, like many fairy tales do.
Yes.
You know, good girls are beautiful and the bad girls are ugly, right?
But actually, you know, in the Brothers Grimm's version, the stepsisters are described as beautiful. Yes, it is really, you know, I'm not really sure with Perrault if the French version that Disney is based on, if that is ugly stepsisters, but it's really Disney with the animation, you know, with starting to make images that really enforced this idea of virtue connected to beauty, and I really wanted to, you know, really strongly reject it because it's so horrible,
outdated,
and outdated.
And it makes the characters more complex. You know, we see Agnes like a full character. She is nice and etc., but she also has this this angry inside.
Yes.
And also Elvira is. Arouses our sympathy, but she can be a bit selfish.
Yes, absolutely.
So it was really cathartic to see.
I can speak to that. You know, in fairy tale characters are often very two-dimensional, you know, or one-dimensional even, but I had seen kind of the three-dimensional version of the stepsisters, so I needed to find that within all the characters, and I don't believe that anyone is just good or just evil.
Exactly.
And with Agnes, you know, with Cinderella, it was very important for me to make her into a human, and then she has a range of emotions, right?
She has flaws also.
Yes, and with Elvira, it's you know, the selfishness for me. That is one of the truths about self-objectifying and comparing yourself to other women. Is that if you are really insecure about your own looks and your own body, you will actually become quite self-involved and self-obsessed, because you are. When you meet other people, you're actually just looking for your own reflection in their eyes. You want to know, oh, do they think I look fat in these pants? You know, or you know, when you have this insecurity, this is really what happens. And I really wanted to tell the story of why the stepsister also becomes like a worse person than she was in the beginning.
Exactly.
It's actually because she's starting to compare herself, and because she's insecure, and these things are linked, you know.
Yeah, and the actress that played Cinderella is actually the most Cinderella-ish Cinderella of all Cinderellas.
The blue dress,
oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. But I have to ask, did she has her own hair, or you put?
No, it's not her own hair. Yeah.
Yeah, but she really looks beautiful. So let's talk a bit more about female rage, because this is so important for us. We are constantly angry. But we as women are often told not to be too emotional.
Yes.
But it's important to be emotional. Do this kind of emotions, like rage, are some kind of inspiring for you, or just consuming you in some
No,
way?
I think I haven't really thought of myself as angry. I guess it's because I use so much humor as well. But then other people have told me, but Emilie, your film is very angry, and then I'm a bit like, yeah, maybe it is, but I guess yes, I am very angry, but I don't. I guess the reason why I don't think so much about it is because I accept the emotion, and I don't see it as a bigger or lesser emotion than the. I'm also very sad. I guess I'm very hurt. Most. Okay. I'm very hurt, and out of that hurt comes, you know, an anger and a need to kind of reject this story that has been put on me and my fellow women and also men. And but I think, you know, what's really angry with when you get hurt, you can get defeated and you can get, you know, scared or hide. But I think what's really important with the anger, that anger is an outward emotion. Anger is something you want to tell someone. Yeah. You want to tell someone off, you know, and, unless you turn that anger on yourself. Oh, exactly. But I am done with that, you know. That's what Elvira is doing. She turns it on herself. But I think it's time that we women, or you know, or also the men that are more and more, you know, the subject of objectification, you know, that we turn this anger outwards, and also that we come together in this anger. That it's not like a private problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It can feel super lonely and private to have these problems, but actually it's a big, you know, thing for the whole society.
Yeah, exactly. The patriarchal system crush both of us, women and men as well.
Yes. And also there's a multi-billion dollar industry earning money on making us believe that they own beauty. Like I'm trying to stop to say the beauty industry and say the appearance industry instead, because I don't want them to own the word beauty. Exactly. Because actually what that word says, beauty industry, is saying that you need to buy, and beauty products, is that there's beauty in these products, and you will only get beautiful if you use them, right? But if you say appearance products, okay, it's just doing something to your appearance. If you become beautiful or if you become more ugly, who knows?
I don't want this conversation to end.
And also another thing, you know, is that what is beautiful, right? And we say that, oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. No, I would say beauty is in the eyes of the culture of the beholder. And we have to understand that we are being influenced, and also that the beauty the beauty ideal is at all times a construct. You know, what we found beautiful in the 1600s is not the same that we find beautiful now. And you know, the first statue of a woman is a woman that we today would say was totally obese, and we would really not like her. And this is so important that we really start having a conscious relationship to this and start to use our language and talk about it and take back the language and take back the idea of what can be beautiful, because it's so much more that can be beautiful than this very slim idea that we are, you know, the Cinderella slipper that no one can fit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we really like how you portrayed this moment, because her foot looks so big in compared to the shoe.
Yes.
So it's like a body horror in your mind, what your mind do to your body.
Yes.
It's actually so cathartic to hear speaking to you about the appearance industry, because you know what? Lately in Poland we have a like a buzz about one of a multi-millionaire fit influencer that made a post on Instagram which actually said that stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Stop
exactly.
Body movement be an excuse for laziness.
Yes.
And we were really furious.
Yes, that's horrible. That's horrible. And but you know, it's really great to be lazy, because it's only when you're lazy that people don't then they don't get any money out of you. And that's why they're telling you, get back to work, women. And I don't mean work in the workplace, but work in the bathroom with all their products, you know, because that's when they will earn money of you. So please, you know, don't. I know that you're not fooled by it, but so many people get ashamed by it, and also because you know, with the social media, these women that are spending a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of pain, becoming these objects, you know, they or making their bodies into these objects, they are getting a lot of praise and they get a lot of attention. And you know, I'm not on social media, I guess, because I feel a little bit like former alcoholic.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to being a beauty or like suffering with body image. I cannot drink alcohol. You know what I mean? Like when I was young, this was I was really brainwashed, you know, and I was really I was really suffering. And when I see these images, even now, you know, 10 years later, after I stopped shaving, and I have a boyfriend and I have a daughter and I'm a director, and you know, I have no reason to not like myself, and I've practiced this for so long, but still today, if I'm on social media and I see these women, I become insecure, and I start questioning if I should be not so lazy, you know? And that's why I'm like, no, I will not do that. It's not good for me. And I know because I've been sober. You know, it's really hard to realize that you're an alcoholic or to realize that you are an addict, you know, somehow, or under the influence. But if you have a dry period and you really experience life without it, and then you understand that no, I don't need this voice in my head. I don't want this view on me. I don't want to have people take advantage of me, you know.
My insecurity.
Yes.
We know we really fangirling here, but there are a lot of thoughts in our minds now, especially after our conversation.
No, but I really, you know, thank you so much for also having this thematic conversation. You know, we could, of course, talk a lot more about how I made the movie and all of this, but I hope this movie really inspires this type of conversation, and that people really go deep with it.
You know? Actually, when we were coming here, we were talking to each other that, you know what, Bogusia, we can't do another interview about body horror. Probably
yes.
Emilie told everything about body horror. Let's talk about something different. So it was also important for us.
Oh.
Yes, so let's talk about the reception of the movie, because
yes.
Yesterday you have told that there are many viewers puking during this. We both with Marta thought about, such an amateur. Really, these people
yes.
reacting in that.
Yes, and I guess, you know, people have different things that they cannot see. Some people think the eye thing is the most horrible. Other people really have a thing with maggots and worms that they cannot do it, and so other people have it with the blood, you know. But it was very important for me that although I love body horror, also I think because it really reminds me that this my body that I've before have treated so horrible, and I like this object that, you know, has nothing to do with me. Body horror really reminds me of the vulnerability of it, you know, the complexity of it, and how it's made of flesh and blood, and how it can fall apart, you know. And somehow body horror really makes me appreciate my body more, you know, and makes me want to take care of it, because I see how vulnerable it is and how I need to protect it, you know.
What about the first screening? Because I was wondering, when you made such a complex movie, quite funny, quite campy,
yes.
And disgusting in one moment.
Yes.
You are sitting at the audience and thinking, why those people don't laugh? Maybe they should.
You know, I had no expectations of how people. No, I thought it would not.
Letting your child go.
Yes, absolutely. I really consider it as my child. It's out, you know, and it's not just made by me. Of course, I'm her mother, but she has a lot of other influences, and now she was a very annoying teenager that I needed to kick out of the house. And of course, I hoped she would make friends, but I knew she would not be for everyone. Like nobody is, and she's a bit special. But you love her, so that's all that matters. But no, the reception in Sundance was really great. There was laughter, there was spontaneous applause after the worm came out, and someone puked. So that was the first puking at the premiere. But I think, you know, people have different reactions to it, and I really wanted to the body horror scenes to really be body horroring, you know, to really be horrible for the body horror audience. But I didn't want to make a movie that was only that. Yeah. I really wanted to make a movie that would, you know, seduce an audience that would go and see a body horror, to make, you know, to the women who would see, you know, like a costume drama or a fairy tale, and then, you know, the movie starts quite pink and, you know, girly, and then I slowly just twist it into, and by the end I think people are a little bit like, when is the yucky thing going to come? Even the people who are like bracing themselves, being, oh, I'm so scared, and then they ease them up and they're like, oh, but isn't it coming yet? And then poof, in your face, you know. And really, in Norway, it's the biggest audience for the movie has been young women. That's the biggest audience. That's really the audience that has come out to see it, and I think that's amazing.
What about being inspiration to other artists, other female directors? Do you want to be an inspiration for other tough women which want to say,
show more worms?
I hope so. You know, in film school. For a long time, I didn't see a lot of the best movies in the world, you know, the ones that are on the top of the list and stuff, because they were all made by men. And I was really, or not, today, you know, these lists have changed, but 10, 15 years ago, most of these movies that people talked about were made by men. You know, now Jean Dielman is a top pick, you know, on Sight and Sound, and Claire Denis with Beau Travail is far up. But it was really important for me to see the films of other women, and when I started seeing, you know, Claire Denis, Lynn Ramsey, Andrea Arnold, and then later, you know, also Quatre Breillat. And when I saw these women, I understood that they had already started carving out a space for me, and that I could stand on their shoulders, you know. And I really see this as not only am I standing on the shoulders of the art they've made, but also on, you know, especially because I'm in Norway, I'm standing on the shoulders of all the women directors in Norway that have really fought for equal rights and equal treatment within the funding system. And now we have a quotation system in Norway, and it's really a lot of women coming, but it's really standing on the shoulders of the women that come before me. Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful way of saying it, because I think that what you are saying now transports to the final of your movie, which was absolutely moved. I was absolutely moved by the final of the movie, because for me it was like a metaphor of, you know, cut the umbilical cord with
yes,
with
yes, you saw it, Yay!
You know, like radical sisterhood is the only thing that could save us.
Yes.
It was absolutely beautiful. The more so that Alma is not a big character in your movie. She's like a drugoplanova. I don't remember this word in English, but for the most part of the movie, she's in the shade, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
The final is, you know, we leave our mother behind, and we as a sisterhood is the most important thing ever.
Yes.
She looks like the Merida the Brave.
Yes. I know that was an accident. Yeah. But no, I think Alma is. I really needed a character that was kind of the audience's kind of advocate in the film, you know. So when everyone's crazy, you can look over to Alma and be like, "Oh, I'm not the only one who thinks everything is crazy," you know.
She's so funny.
She's you know the sensible one, but also she's the one that shows that you can, that if you are, you know, because we like her because she does her own thing. She's brave, you know, and I think. Seeing that character, maybe we understand that we will like ourselves more if we are brave. And also, I love that she. It was very important for me that Elvira needed help to get out that tapeworm, because it's really hard to undo because you internalize this gaze on your body, or Elvira has done. She sees herself with other people's eyes, you know, and to get out of that manipulation, you really need someone to take you by the hand and say, you know, it's not true. There's another way to look at yourself and the world, and Alma is really that for Elvira, I think. A radical sisterhood, or for me personally, you know, it was a radical father-daughter relationship, you know. But I think it was really important for me with her as well. I think because she's a minor character and we don't know so much about her, you can really project yourself upon her. And I know that she's, for many trans people, she really represents also, like, because I made her very androgynous.
Yeah, exactly. That is why I really liked your casting choices among Polish actresses, because Katarzyna is also a bit androgynous.
Yes. No. And you know, I love to play with that myself in my personal life, because I've before in my life been very, very scared to be male presenting. In any way, but now I'm really trying to play with it, but I really wanted Alma to have long hair by the end, you know, because I did not want it to be like, oh, so you need to be a tomboy or you need to look like a man to survive, but actually that she would let out her hair and kind of this feminine power, you know, in that hair. And I know a lot of people consider her gay or trans, but I would say also she's also maybe she's a heterosexual woman. No, but she can be whatever you want, because the point is she can be whatever she wants. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a beautiful way to end our conversation. Unfortunately, we want to talk with you for another hour, but we see Mary to shows us that we don't have any more time. So just one quick question to end our conversation. Yes. This is the question that we ask to all our stars. Your movie will come to Polish cinema in July, probably. Yeah?
July 4th. Yeah.
July 4th. Yeah. So what will be the 3 words that you want to tell to the people who didn't see your movie at the Off Camera festival?
So I would say, can I do 3 sentences? No. So I would.
Don't change the rules.
Don't change the rules. 3 words. Okay, 3 words. I would say. Laugh, cry, puke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We want to tell about our emotions.
It's hard, as you
see. But you have, and dziękuję bardzo for that.
You
really.
have a beautiful Polish accent, so.
Dziękuję, dzięki.
Thank you very much.
You finished? That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do? It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.